Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marie Herman, and I'm the owner of MRH Enterprises, LLC, which I use for writing and leading study groups. I am so happy to be your facilitator today, giving this presentation for Executive Secretary Magazine and their Adminchat series. Today, I'm going to be talking about building your skills portfolio. Are you certified or certifiable? Well, we may just find out today. So what are we going to cover? I'm going to look at assessing your skills and your career path, talk a little bit about the decision to pursue certification in the first place, then I'll cover the certification process, and then finally I'm going to share a few thoughts with you where once you're certified, what should you do next? As former professional hockey player Wayne Gretzky is known to have said, you miss 100% of the shots that you never take. You've got to at least try for certification to know if you'll ever be able to get it or not. Now, you might be thinking, is certification the right choice for you? Well, it does depend. But here are some thoughts before we get into the various certifications that I want you to consider. The first is, what does your CV or resume look like? Why? Well, because you need to have information on there for your own use just as much for your future employer's use. A resume is abbreviated. You don't include everything on a resume. You customize it for the job that you're applying for. You eliminate positions after a certain period of time because you really don't want to give any flags to indicate how old you might be once you're over a certain age. But your CV, your curriculum vitae, on the other hand, that contains everything. It's essentially a master resume. It can be any length at all. It helps you remember things for phone interviews that you might otherwise forget with time. I also include several stories in mine that illustrate some of the commonly asked questions during interviews, like how did you juggle competing priorities? What's your weakness? Those kinds of questions. So I have several different stories included on my own curriculum vitae for my own use that I would refresh prior to any job interview so that it would be top of mind for those most common questions that most companies will ask. When you're planning out a strategy for where you're going to go in your career, you want to start by creating a career map. That is a document used for creating long-term goals, thinking through your end objectives, and helping you to identify the best way to achieve those objectives. A self-assessment document is intended to help you look at your strengths and weaknesses objectively and identify areas for improvement. This could include certification, formal education, mentoring, on-the-job training, or other resources depending on what you want to learn about. So performing a realistic self-assessment and using that to set smart goals for yourself and map out a strategy for achieving those goals is really going to get you farther ahead in your career. Once you've identified your goals, then you have to create an action plan for how you're going to achieve them. You want to add follow-up dates and tasks to your Outlook or other calendar and your to-do list so that you have regular reminders that will come up to help keep you on track. And you really want to make yourself accountable, whether that means announcing it on your social media to try to have your friends give you a little bit of friendly peer pressure and regular questioning of how's it going, how's it coming, did you pass that test yet? Or if you do it in some other way, maybe partner up with a study buddy. Find a way to make yourself accountable for getting your actions completed. That's what's going to help you make progress on your goals. So why should you certify? Well, you can increase your salary. You can certainly gain more respect. You have that potential for promotion. It gives you a real edge in job interviews, and it allows you to expand your knowledge. No matter what certification you're going for, you will definitely increase your knowledge of whatever that topic is. It also helps your self-pride, lets you prove your skills, and ultimately get more responsibility. I've taught study groups for years, and I have seen all of these happen to my students. Some of them that really have truly just amazed me is when I've seen students come in that are often older, They're kind of shy. They've been out of school for a very long time. And quite honestly, they're terrified of any certification because they haven't taken a test for years. The increase in their self-pride, their self-esteem is just astounding. I mean, it's amazing to me as I watch them go through these study groups and realize that they are up for this challenge, that they can do it. They can do it. It's just one of my favorite parts of teaching the study groups and offering my webinars is that chance to see people get more knowledge, become more self-confident, and use that to step up into higher level roles. And I have seen a substantial number of my students move on to promotions, better jobs, better opportunities, start their own business, use this as kind of a jumping off board to go back to college. Just this opens doors for you so far beyond what the actual test itself may be covering. So I definitely encourage you to use certification as part of your strategy for building your skills portfolio. So maybe you're thinking, okay, fine, Marie, fine. I will take a look at certification, but what certification should I do? There's probably a lot of them out there, but most of us don't even know what they are. I haven't heard when I got certified, we'll just say many years ago, there was very little information out there about some of these certifications. I had to go actively seek it out to find it. Now, the internet makes it much easier, but it still has the onus on you to go forth and research the certifications. So I've listed here some of the most common ways that you can find out about it. One is check professional associations. So for example, the International Association of Administrative Professionals, they have a certification, which I'll talk about in a moment. The National Association of Legal Secretaries, Meeting Professionals International, National Association of Parliamentarians, the American Society of Administrative Professionals. These are all just different examples of some of the professional associations that are out there for administrative professionals. Obviously, there are even more around the world, European Union Management Associations, EUMA and IMA. There are Canadian associations in other countries as well. And so there is undoubtedly some type of a professional association for administrative staff in your country, no matter where you are located. You can also check certification websites. If you're interested, for instance, in Microsoft Office Specialist certification, you would go to Certiport.com, which is the third-party vendor that Microsoft partnered with to offer their Microsoft Office Specialist exams. You might also check your local colleges for the certificate programs that they offer. Think about checking with advertisements and recruiters. And what do I mean by that? I mean, keep your eyes on job postings. See what companies are asking for, and be especially wary to keep an eye open for anything you don't recognize. If you see terminology appearing in executive assistant job positions that you don't recognize, that's a sign that your skills may be getting outdated, and you need to start learning more about whatever those particular words are. Whether there's something related to social media or web programming or project management or a particular type of software like SAP or Oracle, you need to stay on top of the most commonly used programs. So if you start seeing something appear regularly in job ads, that's a clue for you that you need to beef up your skills just a little bit. Now, I want to talk for a moment about some of the specific certifications that are out there for administrative professionals. This is not an exhaustive list. It's just a starting point for you. But these are some of the most common ones that are out there. So one of the big daddies, one of the oldest certifications is the Certified Administrative Professional. That is administered by IAAP, which I mentioned on the last slide, the International Association of Administrative Professionals. It's been around since the 1940s, and it is a exhaustive certification that definitely does test your skills. That's the one that I offer study groups for twice a year. Once you've become a CAP, there are several specialty certifications available through IAAP, which can be acquired in different ways. There's an organizational management designation that is achieved through an 8-week class that IAAP offers. There are the technology applications, project management, and meeting and event planning specialties. Those three are offered through IAAP's Capstone, which is a workshop that's offered once a year. Next year it will be offered in March 2019 in San Diego, California. There's also Microsoft Office Specialist certification. This one is offered through proctored exams available around the world. And so you can take it most likely within a few hours of wherever you live. And if you're in a major metropolitan area, you may have multiple options locally for taking this test. It definitely does require knowledge. Microsoft recommends that you've been working with their products for at least 6 months before you try for the certification. The accredited legal professional, the professional legal secretary, and professional paralegal are all certifications offered through the National Association of Legal Secretaries. So if you work in the legal industry, that might be something worth pursuing for you for a way to increase your salary and increase your knowledge. Some of the other certifications that are out there. PACE, the Professional Administrative Certification of Excellence, that is offered through ASAP. That is a proctored online exam that you can take with a few months of preparation to get ready for it, and the materials to prepare for it are included with the cost of the registration for the exam. The Advanced Certificate for the Executive Assistant, ACEA, which was formerly known as ACEPA, that's offered in partnership with Executive Secretary Magazine. It's done through workshops offered live in cities around the world, and so that might be something that you would be interested in pursuing. Office Dynamics offers the Certified Executive Administrative Professional Certification, and that is offered through Joan Burge. She has programs set up around the country. I don't know if I think that's more U.S. based, but there may be some internationally, but I think that one's more U.S. based, where you can attend her program for a couple of days and get the certification for that. Also, Professional Registered Parliamentarian, that is offered through the National Association of Parliamentarians. And a parliamentarian can actually be a great way to expand your skills, especially of Robert's Rules of Order, and make a little extra money, because very often if you're in a major metropolitan area, companies that hold their annual meetings often hire a parliamentarian for their weekend meetings. They're short-term gigs. It's a great way to bring in a little bit of extra money potentially. And then a registered meeting planner that's offered through Meeting Planners International. That is an additional certification that's available if you do a lot of meeting planning. That's worth looking at as well. Some other certifications that are out there. Certification in meeting management, certified event planner, certified destination specialist. Those are travel planning certifications. So they're related to, for instance, if you have specific knowledge of a particular city, you might become a certified destination specialist. So if you do a lot of travel arranging, and that might be something you're interested in even moving into in a future career path, those could be worth adding to your toolbox. Certified meeting professional, that is a that's an additional certification from MPI. Certified Educational Office Employee and Professional United Methodist Church Secretary are two certifications that I came across that I thought were very interesting because they're such a specialized niche. And I wanted to include them because I wanted you to think about if you are in any kind of a particular niche where there's a certification that's unique to what you do. So in this case, the Educational Office Employee would be related to school, admin, academic, administrative professionals, and the United Methodist Church Secretary is offered through obviously the United Methodist Church, and so anyone who works in a religious institution might want to check to see if their religious institution offers a certification as well. Other areas you might look into, if you work in medical, for example, look for the certifications that are specific to medical too. You might also consider going back to school and getting a college or university certificate. You might be looking at a master's or a bachelor's or an associate's degree, depending on what your current level of education is. You might also consider certificate programs, which are usually 1 year long. They include a variety of programs, but the programs vary depending on what the particular certificate is. So examples of that would be a word processing certificate, a certified professional secretary, an executive secretary. Check with your local schools to see what's available, but also look at online schools. There's many colleges offering online courses where you might be able to earn the certification in the comfort of your own home, pink bunny slippers and all. Kind of nice to have that option. If you are considering in the long term possibly rotating out of the administrative field, or if you want to expand your responsibilities in a non-traditional admin role, you might look at some of the other kinds of certifications that are out there. So just as an example, you could look at project management certifications if you do a lot of project work. Social media management could be another area of interest. Human resources certifications could be something to consider. It all depends on the direction that you want to take your career, but be thinking about how you can lay the groundwork to develop a career path for yourself, even if it's not traditional admin. Whether it is or not, there's all kinds of education and certification out there that you might find helpful. So you've decided you're going to go for it. What should you do next? Well, the first thing to do with any certification program is contact the governing body. Find out what is the body of knowledge that's being tested in that particular certification program. Get educated on all the details. How often is it a class? Is it a test that you have to sit for? How often is it offered? Where is it offered? How much does it cost? What kind of materials do you need to prepare? Get as much education as you can, and all that is going to come from the governing body. Think about getting a study buddy, but choose wisely. If you choose someone that doesn't have the same level of discipline that you do, you may find that they talk you out of going for it over time because it's too much work. You want someone who's going to be just as dedicated to whatever program you're pursuing as you are. Take a look for what classes or study groups are available for whatever certification you're looking for. So as an example, I offer the study groups for the CAP and for the Microsoft Office Specialist. I also offer individual webinars to learn about individual features of Microsoft Office individually. However, you may have local study groups. You might want to check with local portions of professional associations, the local branches or individual units that are located in your area. You might check for local computer training centers to see if they have classes to prepare for the certifications. The governing body may be able to help put you in touch with people that offer training to prepare for their exams. So there's lots of resources out there, and you should definitely try to take advantage of them if you can. You might choose to self-study with books and videos and tapes, and that's perfectly fine as another option. Again, that comes down to how disciplined you are as a student. If you have trouble staying focused and really getting through something that might be kind of dry to read, you might find it more helpful to work with other people. But if you're someone who can fly through a book and bing, 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 I've got it, I'm done, I'm good, go for it. Do your self-studying using whatever books or videos or other resources are out there. Also look for online assistance. Many forums are available for different certifications. LinkedIn could be a possibility. The governing body's website might be another possibility, their Facebook page. Look for those kinds of resources online as well. Help doesn't have to be in your own town. It could be around the world now with access to the internet. And then consider finding a mentor. Find someone who has already gone through the certification who can answer your questions and kind of hold your hand and guide you a little bit. One of my favorite quotes from Roger Williams, "The greatest crime in the world is not developing your potential. When you do what you do best, you are helping not only yourself, but the world." And I believe this wholeheartedly. I'm a huge believer in certification, not only because I teach students to prepare them for it, but for myself as well. I'm a lifelong student and a lover of education. And I really do believe that when you don't develop yourself, you're wasting your gifts. You're not sharing your gifts with the world. And so it really is something that I'm truly passionate about. Okay, so you got certified. Yay, hooray. Now what? What do you do? How do you maximize the benefit of that certification? Well, start by updating your success book. What the heck is a success book? Well, that's a binder that you put together that has copies of your certifications, any classes that you've taken, any testimonials that people have written saying how great of an employee you are or how thankful they are for your services. Put them all together into a binder and use that to help yourself prepare for promotion time, for your next job interview, just to cheer yourself up when you're having a bad day. It's a tremendous resource that I have used for years, and there have been so many times when I've been so thankful that I've had it for myself. Update your resume or your master CV that lists all of your knowledge. Get that information in there for all the new certifications that you've acquired, and don't forget to include the ongoing education that you receive to maintain those certifications. Get business cards printed up. If your company won't give them to you, print up business cards on your own. There's plenty of sites online that will print you out 250 business cards for $10 or so. And, obviously you're not going to try and mimic your companies if your company won't give you the cards, but that doesn't mean you can't have personal business cards that include your certifications and your professional titles. Sit down and have a career path discussion with your boss. Ask them, what are the opportunities for advancement in the company? I want to take on more responsibilities. I want to do new things. What can I do to grow with the company? See what they have to say. Maybe they don't know that you're interested in moving up. Maybe they do know you're interested in moving up, but you haven't had an honest discussion with them about what needs to happen for that to come true. Maybe you need to get different certifications. Maybe the company thinks you need different experiences. Find out what those are by sitting down and having an honest heart-to-heart conversation with those that can help you guide your career in your company. Ask for a salary increase. Be able to point back to the certifications that you've acquired in the past year or 2 years and ask for that to get translated into an increase in salary. The worst that happens is they say no. And if they do say no, well, then maybe it's time to look around and see if there's another company that does value your certifications and that will pay you a higher amount of money. But even if they don't, you'll never know if you don't at least ask. You've got to make the request. Then mentor others. Help those who are coming behind you to have an easier time along that path than you did. Be available to answer their questions, to share information, to encourage them to go on. A mentoring position is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves and for those that we work with. Don't forget to research recertification. Many certifications out there have recertification requirements. You need to earn a certain number of points in a certain period of time. Most often those are through ongoing education and continuing development. Go find out when that certification is going to need to be recertified. How are you going to do that? What's the paperwork involved? So that when the time comes, you're ready to go and not scrambling. And for heaven's sake, don't let your certifications slip away because you're not paying attention to the recertification requirement. You don't want to do that work all over again. And then finally, tell people. Announce it on social media that you have gotten certain certifications. Let people know what you have been able to accomplish. This allows other people to stay abreast of what's happening with you so that when they serve as future references for you, they have an idea of what you've been doing over the years when you haven't worked with them directly, potentially. It also gives people a chance to learn about the certifications. So you start to spread the word of the certifications. And the more people that know about them, the greater their value becomes. And finally, it's a lot of work to get these certifications. So by telling people, you're giving them an opportunity to share in your joy, to support you in your journey, and to let you know that you did a great job. And who doesn't want to hear that? So if you're interested in learning more about some of the specific certifications that I've offered here today, I wanted to let you know that I have a free webinar coming up on November 28th at 7 o'clock Central Time, and it will provide detailed information on certification options for administrative professionals. I'm going to focus in particular on the Certified Administrative Professional, the Microsoft Office Specialist, and the PACE certifications. I'll cover how much they cost, what the content is, how much preparation time you should expect to take, what the materials are that are needed for the test, what the recertification requirements are, all the nuts and bolts information that you want to know about those specific certifications. So if you're interested, you can go to my website, mrhenterprises.com/certoptions.html. Copy and paste that link, go to my website, sign up for this free webinar, and hopefully that will help answer your questions if you're thinking about pursuing one of these certifications. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I realized I included my any questions slide and I forgot. This is not a live session. But that's okay. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. If you would like to know more about any certifications or general getting a certification, I'm happy to answer questions. Here is my contact information. You can email me at iwaap@mrhenterprises.com. And you can also go to my website, www.mrhenterprises.com. I'd love to have you join my mailing list where you would find out about my upcoming study groups and webinars and seminars that I offer. I try to provide ongoing professional development for administrative professionals so that you can advance your careers. That's my goal in life. So thank you so much for joining me for this Executive Secretary Magazine Admin Chat. I hope that this has helped to put your thinking cap on for pursuing some certification and advancing your career. Thanks, everyone.